Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Old Reader, New Reader. So we have a special guest today. Tina
Hi.
is joining us. So thanks again for joining us 2 weeks in a row.
No
She is
problem.
really special.
Very
So
special.
normally when we do this, Omar is the old reader and I am the new reader. But this time I'm the old reader here, recommending Sunstone to these two. Oh
Right.
man, we're gonna have to take this scrolling thing off the screen. Your girl cannot concentrate because I was there. Woo!
Man, good thing I didn't pull the green screen test on this.
Oh my gosh. Ooh. Okay.
Apparently we can do green screen now on
Hey.
on live videos.
That's gonna take some
on
testing.
StreamYard. I don't have room to hang anything like that.
Right.
So Maddie is right. Yeah, 95% of the time, it's usually me being the old reader. I can think of a few times that you were like, "Hey, let's read this," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
One of them being Red Sonja. I can't think of.
We've had others, but yeah, sometimes I recommend one. Neither of us have read it, right? Like Savage
Savage Shores.
Shores.
The Savage Shores. Correct.
So, for those of you who have not read this before, just a quick Emma. We are talking about Sunstone, book 1. We were going to do book 1 and 2, but I forgot to lend it to Tina in time for the show. So
I've
we
only
are
read
doing
one.
Sunstone book 1, and that contains trays 1 through 3. Now, just to say that you can get this as an image hardcover. I'm sure this is book 2, but book 1
Book 1
looks very similar. And actually, I don't know if you've checked out, but recently Stjepan announced that he will be releasing new covers to this with the characters on the front. So once these prints completely sell out, they'll be redoing it with a new cover with the characters on it.
I'm so mad about that because
you just bought it.
Well, I don't like these covers at all. Like these flesh tone colors, and they remind me of a school textbook.
Well, I know why they did that, though.
Oh, obviously, right? But they could have done it with a dust jacket, kind of like Big Heart Sex Criminals. If you take the dust jacket off of Big Heart Sex Criminals, it's like it's a funny this book is about dogs, so you're reading there, so not reading Big Heart Sex Criminals. You're reading like doggy books.
But you did say when he first announced he was going to release these, people did ask for a cover like this, so it wouldn't be so obvious to people. Now I'll probably be double dipping and rebuying these when they come out with the new cover.
Wow, spoilers! She really likes this book.
Yeah. So Sunstone is written and illustrated by Stjepan Sejic. He's gotten pretty popular in the past few years, doing work with DC, Justice League. He just finished, I think it's all out now, Harleen.
Yeah.
Which is really big.
He had a run on Aquaman, too.
Yes. And Sunstone is like his baby. Very similar to Terry Moore and Strangers in Paradise. I kind of liken the two together. Not just because of subject matter, but like that's his baby. He started out on DeviantArt, that's where you could read it. So this is a story. Usually when people sell this book, they sell it as, it is erotica and romance, a story about BDSM and a couple that's 2 women, and that's how they go to sell it. And that's a pretty good sell, but it's definitely so much more than that.
Yeah.
That's how's the nudie book? That's my quick and dirty.
I did want to warn, it's not even a warning because I know this is like an after hours. I need a wine glass to do this properly. It's more after hours than any of the other topics. Even though we literally talked about plant sex like 2 weeks ago with Swamp Thing. Because this entire book relies on BDSM. It's the basis of the book. It's a lot different than everything else, because I think everything else we've reviewed on the show has been, oh yeah, here's a boob there and here, right? It's not like, and sex is, a part of it, but nothing
we've
like
we've never reviewed anything on this show that is explicit.
Mature audiences only.
Which is
so why am I here?
Because I mean, a lot of manga does this often.
Yeah.
You know, but we haven't reviewed any of those on here. So that is, I mean, as a warning to anybody who is thinking about picking this up, it is explicit. It is labeled as erotica. And that is true, but I do urge you to, if that's something that would be not a selling point to you, I do want you to know that's so much more than that. Like, that's not the whole thing.
Right. It definitely deals with fetishes, but it doesn't make a fetish of the fetish. Does that make sense? Like, my wife was like, hey, it involves two women. Does it really fetishize or fantasize, you know, put the ideal theme of lesbianism as a fetish? And I was like, no, it actually does a really good job with it.
Oh, yeah. And that's the biggest sell, right? Because it's very realistic.
Right.
You know, because it's not just like, when we hear stories about like this, it's usually X-rated, and it's made with like a certain gaze.
Right.
Right. But the one of the best things about this story, and the reason why I keep pushing on everybody, is because they really do a realistic and respectful approach to this. Yes, it's sexy. Yes, it's awesome. But at the heart of it, you have these two women trying to figure this thing out, and not just like the BDSM thing, but just like the dating each other thing.
Right.
Let's do a recap of what Volume 1 is, and then we can dive deep into what we all got out of it. Because this is my first time reading this. I've never read this. So the story is pretty simple, actually, for Volume 1, right? Like, it reads it reads almost like a stage play, because there's only like 3 settings.
Right.
So you meet Lisa, and you meet Allison, and well, her name's not even Lisa, it's like Elizabeth something. But anyway, she's the writer. Lisa's the writer, and she's starting this story with like, this is my story. It's really boring because literally it's about how I met Alley Cat. And that was their screen name when they met in a chat room, I think is what it was. Right. And eventually these two, like, they started talking about BDSM through chat in a room, and 2 months later they decided to meet, right? And we'll talk about the detail and the cuteness of that later on. And they meet. They kind of start digging each other, like missing each other every weekend. So they're like, hey, you want to come by again? And she's like, yeah, I'm glad you asked. You get all their inner monologues too. Like, you get what they're thinking, which is nice. Yeah. You don't really see that in comic books these days. And then there's a supporting cast of characters like Alan, which is is really good friends with Allie, who is the dom of the two.
Yeah.
Right. And then the sub, right, is Lisa.
Yeah.
Right.
And both Alan and Allie didn't work out because they're both doms. And that's how they found out that they're just going to be friends. Like, it was weird at first for him, like, to be friends with her, but then I think he kind of got over it, although maybe later on towards the end of the volume something else might. I don't know. Drama, right? We got to have some kind of conflict. And then there are other characters that are also part of their life, like the guy that makes the beds, and the couple, and then what's her name? Anne. She's introduced halfway through the book that plays a bigger role later on, I assume.
Yeah, and like there are people at the club, and like.
Yeah, so literally
like wider BDSM community.
Yeah, it's slowly introducing you to their scene, or what the scene is like, and the people who are involved in the scene. And it doesn't focus on the scene itself. It focuses on the relationships and the people within that scene or that dynamic.
So those are pretty much the stages. Like, you go to Allie's house, you go to Lisa's house, and then Club Crimson, right? And the word Sunstone is their safety word when things get a little crazy, and we all have to have those. So did I miss anything? I think that's it.
That's overall a very generalized.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because basically they you have. Allie's been looking for a sub for a long time, but hasn't found anyone.
Let me show the selling point for this book, though. Hold on a second. Look at that artwork by this. What is this gentleman's name again?
Stjepan Sejic.
Holy crap! Can this guy draw?
It's amazing. It's
okay.
gorgeous.
Don't get deceived though. The book is nothing like this, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, because Allie's big into MMOs, which is funny because Stjepan and his wife are both really into Final Fantasy 14. I think that's where a lot of that's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that okay. So that is the plot, and
yeah, because the overall theme is like the two of them not just like finding each other in BDSM and finding their match there, experimenting with that, but also kind of like at the same time dealing with their feelings for each other. I always joke about this because it's like the most lesbian stereotype in this, where like, yes, they're having sex with each other and they're, doing BDSM plays, but at the same time, they're both like, what does she like me?
Yeah, does she?
I know we live.
I did all this stuff for you, but I'm not. Are you? Do you like me?
Spoilers, ladies. It's not just lesbians. Guys worry about that stuff too.
But that's always the big trope about.
Is it okay?
Ladies. Like they're married for 10 years. It's like,
do I really like you?
All right, so
are we a thing?
Let's talk about this story. The plot that's pretty much the plot, but that's kind of just hitting it. The dialogue is so heavy. I wasn't expecting. Like, this is nothing. Like just heavy dialogue of scene after scene. Like, there is not a single splash page, if you will, of anything. It's all dialogue of.
It's very thick and meaty.
Inner monologue of what they're thinking, and then what they're not saying, and then they say it. It literally reads, and I swear this is going to sound weird, but it reads like a Silver Age comic book, an educational Silver Age comic book about a certain topic, right? Yeah. That's what it reads like to me.
And I wonder if that's because it started out as like a web comic. Because if you think about it, if he's putting this on DeviantArt and so many panels at a time, each time you release that, you want it to be meaty. You would feel bad if you just released just like a splash page, Yeah. So I wonder if that is part of it. Because at the time when webcomics were released, now we have Webtoon, they're released very differently. But like for that, I'm not surprised. So I wonder if that kind of led to it.
This was originally a webcomic, and then he made it into a...
Yeah. Okay. So Sunstone is like his start, from what I understand.
Now, before I talk about what I think, like I have read a lot of things in my young life. I am not into knocking anybody for liking whatever they enjoy or kink shaming or anything like that. I've reviewed the Manga Sutra for a publisher before, not the Kama Sutra, the Manga Sutra. And I've seen some movies, not 50 Shades of Grey, but like Secretary. Secretary, I love that movie with Maggie Gyllenhaal, right? So, but
watch some hentai.
I also understand that, like, at least for me, it's things that I know are out there, and I think it's great that comic books as a medium can be about anything, right? But at least for me, it's just not something I go and buy. Like, I don't go out and read 50 Shades of Grey or watch the movie or anything like that.
You don't hunt it down.
No. But being that I'm a guy that likes to read comic books and I'm open-minded when it comes to these things, I read it, and I will say I wasn't expecting this much dialogue, and to the point where I was really bored a lot.
Oh yeah.
Because it's weird. Well, it's weird for me to say that because like the artwork is so gorgeous. Like each page should be a page turner, and I'm looking and it's it's done in such a classy way. It's not like, ooh, boobs, oh, there's an ass here. Like nothing like that. It's done in such an educational, boring way that I was like, oh man, I get it. You two are digging each other. Man, that was quick. You know, because when they first start meeting, they first start hooking up, they start having feelings for each other, really, really fast, and that sometimes happens in relationships. And
Right.
you get her inner monologue. But I remember sitting through 4 pages of her trying to tell her about what was it? It was about like moving in with her. It was 6 pages. Because she can't say it, right? So you get this inner monologue of her just, how should I say that? How should I do this? How should I word it? And I'm like, oh man, please don't tell me I'm going to read 6 pages. Oh, I just read 6 pages of her trying to tell her to move in with her. Shit. I mean, and it's not just the two. It's everybody likes to talk.
Mm-hmm. It's very much like a romance novel, actually. And this is actually building up the characters. It is.
I've read The Notebook.
I want to hear your thoughts about everything.
No, it's very much like, and I think it builds up kind of like a romance novel. I've read a lot of romance novels at particular ages when I probably shouldn't have, but this reads very much like a modern romance novel, and actually fairly erotica. So there's heavy, dirty parts of it, but there's also a lot of relationship building, and that's what it's going through. And I think he writes women very well, and he actually seems to have more of a feminine mindset. So I picked it up and I like it. I really, really love this book.
More so than who's the 50 Shades author? What was her name?
Oh, that's just trash. That was a fanfic.
Look at you two. Look at you two.
No, absolutely not. So that one is absolutely trash, and it's.
I just said I read The Notebook as my only romance novel. I did.
So lame.
It's not even a love. Like, it's such a lame, sad story. I cry. I don't care. I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt. Go ahead, because I do want to reply to some of these comments in the chat.
Yeah, I see the chat going on, and I'm like, oh man, they're dissing his boy.
That's okay. So go ahead, Tina. What else were your thoughts on, like?
No,
did you enjoy the dialogue? Did it hit close to home? Like when
okay, so here's the thing.
Not because like you're into ladies, just because we've all been in relationships and we all feel like this. That's what I mean.
As a lady being in a lady relationship, actually, it did hit home that way. It didn't hit home in other aspects. Not going too deep into my personal life here.
That's not what I was even going for. TMI Tina is her nickname, by the way.
I thought it was TikTok. Anyways, yes, I am TMI. But no, it was. I liked it. It didn't bore me. I liked the relationship. It's a slow build. It's a slow burn, which is really, really nice. For as meaty as it gets very quickly, actually, it's a very slow burn story-wise.
One question. I don't
ahead.
know if I should raise my hand. This is the only proper time I'm going to be. The only time I'm going to be proper in this show. Okay. So you say it's a slow burn, right?
Right.
But right off the bat, within the 5 pages, they're already having sex. So for guys, like guys' mentality when it comes to things like
the other way.
Slow burn, I thought a slow burn would be like by the second, the second story arc, they're going to be together. No, it's like right off the bat. She's like, "You want to come and be my sub? I'll be your dom." Yeah, all right, let's do this.
That's not it. It's a slow romantic burn.
Aha.
So it is a quick sexual burn, but is a slow romantic burn. They haven't even decided because right now they even talk about it. They're friends. And in the very beginning part of it, that's what they're going over. They're like, oh, we're just friends. We're friends with benefits. Are we just friends or friends with benefits? Which one are we? When it's actually a little bit more. And that's what the slow build is about. And that's what the meaty part of the story is actually about. It's dialogue heavy because they're slow burning that relationship and that romance. The sex is just, quick. Easy, fast.
That shows how well he does this to me.
Right.
Because I think, it shows a lot. If you can give the sex right at the beginning of this book and still have it be interesting throughout and still have you like clinging on to this, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because most people, when they look at something, especially with the topic of bondage and all that, they think, oh, it's all about the sex. So we're just going to get to the meat part and then it's done.
I know now. I learned things. I know it's not about the sex. It's about the trust. Okay.
Good job.
Good. You learned.
I read it and I absorbed things. So anybody in the chat know? Did he? This is a Top Cow book. Did he ever draw for Mark Silvestri like Darkness or Witchblade? Because this looks like a Michael Turner drawing.
He did draw for Witchblade.
Okay,
oh, he did Witchblade?
Some of the art looked like Witchblade, and I was wondering.
Okay, cool. To answer a comment in the chat about being bored, I think the problem with me with a book is with this book is that all the characters are into the thing. All the characters within this book are talking about the same thing, right?
They're not all into it.
But I mean, but
the partnership with Alan isn't.
But that's the topic, right? There's not a everyday character that you can kind of like. For people like me, you almost have to have that kind of character to kind of relate to. Like, oh, this is going on, right? And I also like a little conflict too in between things, like whether it would be a nice break about like maybe her credit card got overcharged or something like that. I thought that might be even conflict like that. I'm not talking about like the Hulk smashing through the window and breaking up, a nice little romantic dinner. I'm just talking about every day because I've read things like this and that I enjoy, and I'm trying to figure out why I didn't like this as much as I should have.
Well, I will say that there is more conflict in book 2.
Yeah,
that there's a significant like issue in book 2 that you have to deal with for a lot of it.
That's right. Anna wasn't into it. She kind of looked down on it, right? At first.
Mm-hmm.
I assume she's the character. But she's like hardly in book 1.
Well, and then there's like, she's in book 2.
Okay.
And then you also deal with just like, I like the part where like you deal with her like past traumatic experiences with BDSM and like situations she's been into that she's had to like recover from. Because they do hint at that and then they go back to it a lot. Have like a lot.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You're talking about the scene where
with the rope.
Again, it was this drawn like to me.
Le's girlfriend that she was also into.
What was her name? Marion, something like that.
Yeah.
She taught her to tie. Like she was really
a noose knot. Yeah.
Right. She was really into ropes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And she eventually got to the point where she did it herself and she tied herself to the bed.
Right.
And Allie feels like she was responsible for that. And I remember thinking she's been really hard on herself to the point where it was almost not that believable because like you weren't the one that tied her to a bed, right? And she called her boyfriend.
Yeah, but she's the reason she got so addicted to it.
Right.
There's like the way that these like power play works is like it's such an area of vulnerability and weakness that it creates those kind of situations. Like she kind of took advantage of that and took advantage of her in a very vulnerable.
Right, and this one touches into that topic that there are people in it for different reasons. So there's the trust. So everything should be built around trust, respect, and reciprocal. But then there's people who want more out of it and are in for it for different reasons, sometimes bad reasons, sometimes traumatic reasons, that really perhaps shouldn't be into it. And I think it just very lightly touches on that subject.
I know that there's this... they're just like everybody on the internet. There's always a group of people that disagree with this, right? Like this is a form of, mainly because when they see BDSM, it's usually the man, right, that is doing something to the submissive woman, right? That's their mentality. And I know that's why some groups of people protested, because people just love protesting things like 50 Shades of Grey. So it is nice to see this book like do it from just like I said, like an educational angle, as far as this, and I really liked them together. They're really cute, like, and you can't help but fall in love with one of them. Like it's just that type of story, whether it's Lisa or you're into Allie, whatever. Even though Allie's outfits are amazing.
Okay, someone, I think it was it Justin who was like, Allison, where are your glasses at? I assume it's Tina. Because the minute I saw Allison, I was like, Tina.
I did. I almost thought about painting a little.
There is there are a couple of drawings here, and here, let me show you what reminds me of Tina. It's drawings like this, not up here, down here. This one here. That facial expression, I've seen Tina make that oh shit face so many times. Yeah, looking all sexy, sure, whatever, but that is the Tina that I know.
The cussing at my video games. Yeah.
Yeah, or oh shit, I forgot to do something that Heather wanted me to do or something. But Allie is so cute. Like that's in her facial expressions, and you know, honestly, a lot of the characters share that same kind of facial expressions too. But just when she bites her bottom lip, man, that's some good artwork. And I can't find a classy enough picture to show what I'm talking about because she's always nude in those.
I need to get out my calendar.
I love when he uses paint though. Like sometimes when he's doing photos, like this down here.
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of Joe Chen, who used to do the covers for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah.
That's what kind of artwork it reminds me of. So, Maddie, you've heard me and Tina go on about it. How was this reread for you? Oh, there it is. There we go. She's biting her bottom lip. Look at it.
I will say that I didn't reread it directly before this because my copy is at Tina's house.
Sorry.
But I did read it all very, very recently, though. And, like, all together because I had ordered book 2. So I wanted to read it from beginning to end. Although this isn't technically the end because it does continue. But I can speak to how I felt about it when I first read it.
Is book 2 like where it finishes?
Basically. So if you wanted to think of, I mean, like, it, even though it technically will continue on after this, it's a very, I'd say, I think it concludes very well. It's because you basically get to the end of the, like, the romance, I guess, like everything.
What? After all that buildup of 6 pages asking her to move in with her? They better not break up. This is exactly
how it works.
Fuck that book.
Because after this, there is more Sunstone, but it's called Sunstone Mercy, and it focuses on Alan. Some of that is like Alan in the past, like his relationship with Allie. Okay, and some of that is like Alan now.
So I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is there any frontal male nudity in that? Because I find like there's only 2 pictures in here.
Okay, everything is there's 2.
There's 2 pictures in here. I was counting.
There was a little elephant drawn on.
I will say that like Stjepan does not like shy away from that either.
Shy away from frontal male nudity?
Because you do have some artists that you definitely it's not like equal. Right? And that's something we see in TV shows and media too, but he does a really good job of keeping that equal in those stories. Like already his upcoming story for this year, he's already released some of the pictures from it, and it's like, there it is.
This is going to sound so weird, but I think had it been elves and dragons involved with this storyline,
are you thinking
like I would have dug it a little more.
The more like 90s style anime.
Right, I didn't want a documentary like kind of comic. I wasn't expecting this much dialogue, ladies. That's this.
You really were looking for heavy metal, weren't you? You're just like,
no. I knew what the topic was, and I knew who the artist was. So I mean, definitely.
Yeah, I'll say that this. I loved this. It gave me the same kind of feelings that Strangers in Paradise does. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, I felt like this was just a true, honest way. Like these characters are written so honest.
Here's my favorite picture.
They're written so well.
I love them, and for me, it's so relatable. Just what they go through and like how they feel about each other, and like I love all the dialogue. I love all the goofy overthinking it because I'm like them. I get it. I'm like, okay, I gotta overthink this thing, like blah 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 blah. I totally get it.
Right. And I like the like foil that Alan gives to these 2 characters because he's a moment of like breath in between where he's just, he's trying to think of something quick-witted and sassy, and it comes off very nicely, and he comes off a little bit of a prick, but then he's not. He really isn't. He's actually a pretty nice Sweet
He reminds
guy.
me of a poor man's Kevin Smith character. That's what he reminds me of. Because he was talking about like going to jerk off while he found him making out. Like that's a classic Kevin Smith joke. Like those kind of characters.
Omar joke, he'd be like, oh.
Oh, I find myself to be a poor man's Kevin Smith character. By the way, this right here is my favorite picture in the entire book. When they're both laying on the couch together, or her bed together. I love that picture. It is perfect. And it was sweet. This was a moment that I was like, okay, I can keep reading this because they're both talking about each other, right? Like their own little inner monologue. I didn't realize the whole damn book was going to be about damn woman, quit biting your tongue and just tell her. I feel like I'm reading a soap opera.
To me, that's just life. That's just normal. You've been out of the dating game a while, Omar. Okay,
yeah,
it's been a while. I was out of the dating game before Tinder. Y'all made it so easy with that crap. Man, I wouldn't even know where to... No, never mind. Not going to even go there. Not even going to entertain that idea.
Oh, man.
But there are some beautiful pictures in here. Good Lord. I'm trying to find the non...
right, like the spreads like this. This is gorgeous, I think.
Beautiful. I'm just waiting for, I want to photograph a cosplay shoot of this so bad. I'm just waiting for someone to be like, Maddie, can you?
I was thinking the same thing, man. I haven't seen enough people dress as Sunstone characters.
I know
I've been going to the wrong convention.
Man, it's just great. It's great.
Because I'm pretty sure they sell all these outfits online already.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So would either of you... Do you think you all would read the second book? Is there enough
Absolutely.
to hear?
Dude, I'm already involved with these characters enough that I'm gonna read the second book and I'll complain about it if it's got a lot of dialogue. But I really like their relationship. It's really cute, and I'm sure it's gonna be a fucking train wreck because the way they just jumped into it so quick. And then you got this dude that I think still has feelings for her, right? I don't know if that's good. Gosh. Okay, here's some safe for work pictures.
So cute.
Look at that cosplay, man. Cosplay ideas, even for dudes. Nope, those are boobs. Sorry. I was trying to show that picture. Okay, look, if somebody's watching right now, they knew what they were into when they clicked that thumbnail. So yeah, I'll read it again. I'll read it. I'm mad about this crappy cover though. I'm so upset about this.
Yeah, there isn't anything special about it. This is Maddie's book, and I've got bookmarked one little thing, but it's nothing special.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip by the new ones when they come out. Tina, you can have my old copies.
There it is. And spoken like a true collector, you can have my old copies.
I like those new covers a lot.
Yeah, man.
And I hope that when they do book 3, it'll be the same. Because I haven't read Mercy. I've only seen parts of it so far. So I was waiting.
Now, how many volumes are there? Are there just 3 right now?
2. 2 of the hardcovers.
2 books.
Okay.
Yeah. And then let's look. I think there's only 2 more after the 2 books.
Okay.
So they might put those in a hardcover. Omnibus. No, I'm not upgrading to an omnibus. Never mind. Don't do that. Look at these outfits, man. Dude, this is an art book. Even if you didn't like the story, get it for the art. Look at that.
I mean, they're gorgeous. And it does really good about explaining certain aspects of the scene too.
Oh yeah, it's not raunchy at all. It's classy in the way that it's done. Because I think it's doing it from the 2 ladies' perspective. And then there's feelings involved. It's not just sex. And there's feelings from the beginning too.
It's a book about feelings.
Yeah, I know. You all tricked me. It's like one of those Judd Apatow movies. I get tricked into watching what I think is going to be a guy flick, and it turns out to be a chick flick.
Justin said there's 6 trades right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that means there's the 3 in book 1 and 3 in book 2, and then Sunstone Mercy, which I think we almost have enough for another volume of that. But he is continuing. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen on his Twitter, Allie and Lisa's story.
So I have a couple of questions. Is he writing what he knows? Like, does he own a shop, or is he writing things that he's wanting to explore? Because sometimes writers write what they know, and then other times they're just like, "Huh, I wish
I'm
I had
not
2 friends
sure,
like this."
actually. I never read too much into that. I do know that like he consistently will like talk to his wife as he like writes this kind of stuff. Though.
Yeah, and that was sort of in the appendum in the back.
Yeah, because they work very close together. Because she also, I mean, she has a very similar style. She also writes and illustrates comics. She has like Death Vigil, and
she's also an artist.
Yeah.
What's okay?
She's got some other stuff on Tock, I think. What is her? I feel so bad. I just know her name.
No, he's the one that did Aquaman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I didn't know if they had a similar art style or not.
It's very similar. I mean, this is what it seems like to me.
I was trying to see because I know it mentions in the back like his wife sort of helping him, but
sometimes when I looked at like panels like that with all that boxes, I felt like my brother when he was like he used to skip the boxes when reading X-Men Silver Age comics and just read the word bubbles. I was like, now I understand what he was talking about.
It's lame.
Linda Sejic.
What is her name?
Linda Sejic. She is the artist and writer of Bloodstain and Punderworld.
Punderworld?
Mm-hmm. It looks like it's a... I'm pretty sure it's a Hades and Persephone book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyone in the chat, let me know if I'm wrong. Bloodstain. Okay, shit.
Is there anything else you ladies want to add before we give it our final score?
No, I just super recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, it's gorgeous, especially the panels in the back. Like, I'd cosplay this one.
Do it. Let's cosplay. Let's cosplay.
Yeah, you two could cosplay all these outfits. Well, the non-nuts safe. Never mind. Sorry, what would you give this, Tina? Or
David did mention sugar. There is like I guess it's like the Sunstone verse, where like there's a couple other series that are like related but not related, and there's sugar, and then one other. Sugar's like a sugar daddy thing. Then there's swing. Thank you, Justin. Killing it. And swing, which is about swingers, obviously. And so Linda does that too. Okay.
And it's all set in the Sunstone universe?
Well, that's kind of how you describe it. I don't think it's directly related, but...
So sugar, swing...
It's also romance erotica.
Yay.
Yeah, there's no way that these two are in some type of scene if they're doing like swinging couples and BDSM, and so they're definitely probably into that type of scene.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if they're not.
Or at least interested in it.
Yeah. But okay. Ladies first.
Okay.
Tina.
All right. I give it I love this book. 5 out of 5.
Same.
5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. I'm going to be difficult.
Oh.
Because I'm giving it out of 10, not 5. That's why I'm going to be difficult.
Okay. Out of 10. Done.
10 out of 10. They're done.
Dude. With art like that, it's hard. Okay, 7 out of 10. For the art alone and the cuteness of the two characters. And I like both of them, but it was just such a long-winded story. Like, look at all that words, man. Words. I don't read comics for words. I read comics for pictures. No, I'm just kidding.
Omar, you promised me boobs. You gave me dialogue.
I knew I was in for it at like the 3rd page. I'm like, oh, shit. Look at all that dialogue.
Hoodwinked.
On the fish, they live in Croatia. They're Croatian, I think.
Oh, okay. So
they're European.
Speak English?
What?
Do they speak English?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or well, I know like some artists and writers that live overseas, their stuff is translated. Like Umberto Ramos.
English.
Okay.
A lot of people in Croatia speak English, surprisingly.
How do I know this fact?
Because I watch a lot of Twitch streamers from Croatia.
Okay, that answers that question. Yes, let us know in the chat if you've read it, what you would give this book. 10 out of 10 from these two ladies, and a 7 out of 10 from the Uncanny Omar.
Tina, Justin asked if HBO adapted this, who would you cast?
That's a problem, because I saw that comment and I was like, oh, I think he's overestimating me knowing real people, like real actors.
She would cast anime characters as those people.
True.
Because to her, those anime characters are real.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I guess I'm what's the word for that? I have a type. It's just comics, anime, manga.
You have a type?
I don't like real people.
There it is. Okay.
So Stjepan does have some new stuff coming out this year. So he did say that once Harleen was done, he would be focusing more on his like personal projects. So he's continuing Sunstone, but he also has, I think it's called Fine Print, and it's going to be about succubi. And he's already released a few of like the pictures and like just the ideas of it, and it looks so good because it's about like there's a few different characters in there, how they summon like succubus, like sex demons.
You don't say it with succubus.
And the middle version is incubus.
Yes, Tina, we've all played Night Stalkers.
So like the main character that we kept seeing like him post about, it's a girl that like, the summoning circle, and like both a succubus and incubus showed up. And usually you pick one and you're like bound to them, but she's like, well, how do I know which one's better? And so she just never decides, and she's stuck with both of them, like competing. And then there's also a character that's asexual that summons one.
Oh,
so they're not.
And then they end up just being, because she's an author and she just wants to be able to write this stuff, and they just become roommates.
That's great.
Nothing happens. They're just roommates.
I was thinking back to that question of like, who would I cast? Because I don't know any of the actresses that would fit like the look. Maybe like a young Bryce Dallas Howard, like from
I feel like
15 years ago.
Fit the look, but then I wouldn't choose her as Allie.
She kind of could play a dom. See that?
Yeah, but
yeah, I don't know about Kat Dennings. I was thinking more like the Baroness from G.I. Joe, much like much like my girl Tina. I don't actors and actresses. Nah, throw me a cartoon character.
You're better at that than that.
I would cast the Baroness.
Ooh, you know
and
what?
Scarlet
Aiden's
from G.I. Joe.
Aiden's got it.
Who was the one that played the Watchmen? What's her name? That had the lesbian lover in the very beginning. Oh crap!
Oh my goodness, Tina, are you talking about the Watchmen movie?
Yes, she would be good as Alley Cat. She's a very gorgeous actress.
Hayden recommend Alex from Orange is the New Black, the one who was also in that '70s show.
Oh, dude, I don't.
That's perfect. You like her? I like her.
No, she's wonderful to look at. I never really liked her acting.
Oh.
She always takes me out of...
sardonic Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza could probably bring it.
Okay. There we go. I know who that is. I'm looking up all these names right now. Oh, man, who's that wrestler I learned about the other day on Omni Bros? Becky Lynch. Is that her name?
Yeah, that's the one I think all people want to be Red Sonja.
Yeah, I'd take Becky Lynch in any role right now.
So
Becky Lynch. I'm trying to figure out who you're talking about, Tina. Google is your friend.
Ryan said easy answer would be Maggie Gyllenhaal. I mean, after Secretary. Oh, you know what? Lizzie Kaplan. Larry, that's good. She's good.
Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah, so she
where's she from?
So she was in Masters of Sex recently. She's really popular in that. Also,
I thought you were going to say Masters of the Universe.
No, in Castle Rock's the most recent thing, but you may know her as
from Cloverfield.
No, from Mean Girls.
She Janice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her. She looks
So
like
good.
genius. Huh.
Yeah, I do recommend checking
Tina.
out. What?
Tina's.
But Stjepan also has a lot of like fan art too that's really good. He got really big recently in the past couple years for doing some Wonder Woman Lara Croft stuff that was circulating around where they were like hanging out and digging each other. And thanks, Larry.
Tina.
I was actually thinking about the woman that played Silhouette, I think it was.
Okay.
Silhouette.
From Watchmen.
Goodness. Tina, you make my job so difficult. Are you talking? Hold on. You talking about the Silk Spectre? Hold on. I need to figure out what the hell Tina's
I'm pretty
talking
sure her
about.
name was Silhouette, wasn't it? From Watchmen? She's the one that wore the black that had the lesbian lover that was killed in like the 60s. Yeah.
You're talking about the movie, right?
Yeah, the woman that played it.
You're not talking about the Silk Spectre, then?
Nope. Absolutely not. Let me see if I can find her.
I've only ever seen the movie one time.
Apollonia Vanova is who played that character.
I don't even.
She was that gorgeous woman that wore like she was in actually
the opening Watchmen intro.
Yeah. She was actually into BDSM too, actually in that movie.
How?
So.
I don't remember that.
Really?
No. I've only seen Watchmen one time when it was.
I have a good memory for certain things if I'm paying attention.
Pretty ladies.
Ladies who kiss ladies.
We're so fetch. Somebody was asking what a good safe word would be.
Yes, I was talking about Watchmen. Yep. Was Silhouette in Minutemen? No, she was in Watchmen, wasn't she?
She was one of the Minutemen, which are in Watchmen.
Which are in Watchmen, yeah. So she wasn't part of the Watchmen group. Yeah, she was a Minuteman.
Yeah, Tina was talking about Watchmen. Yep. And she meant the opening, and that's why
of the movie, right?
That. Anya Taylor-Joy, who will see as Magic in New Mutants. Pretty much any actress that can sport some bangs. Except for Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Well. All right. I guess, yeah. What are we reading next week?
Oh, yeah, I guess we should figure that out. What if we read this?
I don't have that yet. Mine's coming in at the end of the month. I got it pre-ordered like months ago. It's not my fault. DC was like late at publishing it. I hope we get a volume 2. That's the original Jurgens run, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, that stuff is solid. Liza Dushku and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Well, of course Hayden says that. Huh. Larry said Animal Man. I'm down.
I'd love to do the Grant Morrison run, but that omnibus is out of print. Have we done Sandman? No, we haven't yet. We talked about it for a while.
I've never read any Sandman. Tina, have you?
Mm-hmm. Not all of it, but I have read parts of it.
Yeah, I've never read Sandman.
One does not simply stop reading Sandman, Tina. What happened?
I don't know. I honestly don't remember why I stopped. I think that was when I kind of moved down to college because I used to have a pull list and then I stopped and I don't know. The college town comic book shop just wasn't the same.
Yeah, I understand that.
Gotcha. I think we all. I have a favorite story in Sandman. We all have our favorite stories who have read it, but it reads so much better. Like reading it in order, it all makes sense how everything is tied together. They're wonderful books. Gabriel, we recently did Absolute Swamp Thing, Volume 1, like at the beginning of this month.
Yep.
Larry, that is my favorite story arc in Sandman, the Game of You. And it also happens to be a lot of people's least favorite story arc in Sandman. But it's Neil Gaiman's favorite story arc.
So you're in good company.
I guess me, Larry, and Neil Gaiman. I'm okay with that. Let's see. So what did we do? We did Swamp Thing. Tina, give us some Marvel books or Marvel ideas.
Have you read Watchmen on here?
That is not. What the hell? That is not Marvel. I said Marvel, woman. You know your Marvel characters.
I do, but it's
throw me some Marvel characters at me. Don't say
Excalibur. Is there anything collected by Excalibur? I freaking love Excalibur, guys.
I love you for that. I think that's wonderful. But I think Maddie. What? Okay, I have an idea of how to get there, but I think we need to read the Mutant Massacre
the
at least
by Jason Aaron.
That is a huge ass book. Okay, I mean, if you really want to, I will do it.
I'd like to read it. Ryan asked for Planet Hulk. I've read that. Did we review Planet Hulk?
That was our second book we did.
Okay.
On Old Reader, New Reader. That was with Amanda. And yeah, we did Planet Hulk. We haven't done World War Hulk.
Have you done anything with The Brood?
Oh,
that storyline?
Yeah. Like the original Brood saga?
Mm-hmm. That would definitely
Maddie and Amanda really wrecked my soul last year with the Dark Phoenix saga.
Are you afraid they wouldn't like the original?
I don't think we've touched an X-Men book since then. No, we didn't. Nope, Maddie wasn't even here for that. I decided we were going to do Days of Future Past, and she wasn't even here for that episode. So,
we'll be in the X-Men.
It's not Uncanny X-Men, but fine. Yes, we could do that. Okay. Wolverine and the X-Men.
There's so much. What would you?
42 issues and an annual. All right, I'm ready. I can do it.
That's a lot.
I'll tell you what, it'll read quicker than this.
It won't.
I swear it will. I swear it will. You're gonna be so surprised when you're in like issue 30, going, "Damn, man, I could have finished like Sunstone issue 2 by now."
Have
it's
you
not
done
that dialogue, have you?
Hey, have you Mutant X? Shoot.
Mutant X, you're so cute. The Howard Mackie run.
Yeah. Have you guys done anything with that?
With Winwin? Wait.
I think so.
What did you say?
Anything with oh shoot, give me one.
You said Mutant X.
Yeah, have you done anything with that on the show?
No, I don't think most people have done anything with Mutant X. Like, it's not.
Have they?
Mutant X is like.
Well,
Maddie, do you know who Havoc is?
Yeah.
Okay, so picture Havoc and him thrown in an alternate dimension. Tina, you know all these random series that nobody ever mentions. I love you. That's awesome. We need to have you more here on the show.
I mean, I'm an old reader of Marvel, so I know a lot of these obscure things. And so I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm sure Howard Mackie is somewhere sending. Holy shit! Someone said Mutant X. Thank you so much.
Gabriel asked if we've done the Batman Metal series yet. We haven't. I'm holding up on reading all of that until the omnibus.
I'm hoping that omnibus hits.
Which, who even knows? But right now,
Howard the Duck. Yes, if you guys read Howard the Duck, I'm on.
Okay, I would read the original Steve Gerber stuff.
Not the new stuff. The new stuff is actually pretty good. I've read some of it.
Sure. I guess it's okay.
You guess it's okay.
The original stuff. Yes, I know Make Havoc. I know it's great. It's just random that Tina shows up. She's like, "Have you done Excalibur or Mutant X? We only do one show a week. Like, we haven't already drained the pool of all these great books yet. We still have a lot of good books to go through before we get to Mutant X. Not that there's anything wrong with Mutant X. I'll enjoy it.
Oh, we should be Bone sometime. I've never read it.
As a matter of fact,
wasn't that suggested for fangirls?
Hold on a second.
It comes up a lot.
Bone right now, if you go on Amazon, I want to say has a huge coupon for the complete
Exiles. Yes.
Damn it. Okay, so right now on Amazon, normally $150. Shit, but it looks like they're running low on stock. It's $93.97, but there's a coupon for $31.31 off. So it's going to be like more than half off for that big, beautiful, all-in-one color hardcover. I mean, yeah, if it actually fulfills my order, I'd get that. Sorry, these are thoughts I'm supposed to be thinking about to myself, not on the live. What are we talking about? Mutant X. Mutant X is what we're going to review. No, we're doing Wolverine and the X-Men, as suggested by Maddie, even though everybody's like, well, shit, that omnibus has been out of print for like 4 years. Yeah, it is.
You can read it on Marvel Unlimited.
If you're into digital, or you can get it from the library, or a fellow purse friend can let you borrow their Wolverine and the X-Men omnibus. It's so weird. That was like the first Jason. Okay, that's like the first Jason Aaron omnibus that was released of his Wolverine run, and it's his last Wolverine arc. They did it so weird the way they released those.
Yeah.
Have you done Weapon X on here?
No. Holy shit! Look at you. That's a good one.
That's a really good one if you want to do something Wolverine based. And
something
Maddie,
like,
I think you would really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Literally would take 5 minutes to read.
Yeah.
It's like
it's quick.
I want to say like, well,
it's
I mean,
action packed, quick. Well,
yeah, no, it is. It's 8 pages and then a big 26-page. So you're talking about 120 something pages for Weapon X. But I like Maddie's idea of Wolverine and the X-Men, unless you want to look a little bit about how Wolverine got his adamantium and why he's kind of crazy. That is Weapon X.
I think you can save that for later.
Save Weapon X for another day?
Yeah.
Okay. Tina, thank you for your wonderful suggestions of Excalibur and Mutant X.
If you need some
You know what? When we do Excalibur and Mutant X, you are welcome back on the show. Well, you're welcome back on the show anytime. But
anytime you do Marvel, I'm there.
Especially
for
those. Well, then you're going to read Wolverine and the X-Men for us.
You
should have said that. You should have said that. Except Dark Phoenix was phenomenal. Anyway.
I love Hellfire Club, but not Dark Phoenix.
Aha.
Dark Phoenix was awesome. It was about love. If we want Maddie to read X-Men, why has no? Because we're getting there, Hayden. Just like I can't jump into Mutant X without reading anything about Havoc or Excalibur without reading the Mutant Massacre. That's the one thing I'm a little stingy about is how we read that. So we'll get there. But for some reason, we're jumping into Wolverine and the X-Men. That's okay. Okay, so let's wrap up the show again. 10 out of 10 from the two ladies for Sunstone Volume 1. You can find the book in the link in the description. And what the hell did I give it? 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. All right, Maddie.
Upgrade that.
No, sticking to my guns. 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right.
Fair.
Maddie?
All right. Yeah. So thanks everybody for watching, and check us out again next week. As usual, it's wonderful talking to all of you guys, and I hope you have a good night. We also, don't forget, like this video, subscribe, comment down below if you're watching this later to tell us what you thought. And we have a Redbubble and a Patreon and all that stuff. And thanks.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
Bye, everybody.